I never thought that aliens were the ones that built their own UFOs, right?
The key thing that's really important there is that
it's gonna be a moment in time where I can say, I wanna go back to 1995 and I can do that.
I don't think you'll be alive for that. No, I don't think we're close enough for you to do that, but we are pretty freaking close to longevity science.
Even if I'm not here or the time travel, you honestly think that someone will eventually be able to go back in time
and figure out how to go back in time. It's not scientifically impossible.
The butterfly effect, now that's something I can talk about.
People don't exist anymore.
Speaking of deepfakes, that can be very dangerous in today's world, though.
I'll just quickly say that there's a lot of positive things that can come from the ability to be able to deepfake yourself. Like, for example, you could be sitting in Hawaii on the beach, and you can create a video to speak on your behalf. There's also ways for you to be able to create mass amounts of content. Yes.
But once it gets dangerous.
But there's always a dangerous side, and the dangerous side can always come from.
Check me. We live in our phones, but what if we can make them? Got every app in the world, where's the participation? Looking for representation. Don't overlook the pavement, Silicon Valley was patient. So join the movement, we ain't got too much time to be wasted. Get involved with the tech revolution. Opportunity to use I said it's deeper than cold. Get involved with the tech revolution. Vibe with me, Opportunity to use it. It's deeper than cold.
Hey guys, and welcome back to It's Deeper Than Code. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Big Papa Cook.
And today we're talking about things that I know absolutely nothing about, but Big Papa Code is going to get us into it. We're talking about Skynet, because what is that?
Skynet from Terminator.
Okay, Ultron.
From Age of Ultron, Avengers.
In The Matrix, I know who that is. That's Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yep.
Keanu, I got that right. And how that can accidentally happen in like today's world.
Yes.
Put your seatbelt on.
Unless it's already happened and we're living in it.
Unless it's already unless we are already in a simulation right now, right? Like, let's not say that too loud, because if we are in a simulation, I don't want the simulation people to hear us talking about the simulation. They might.
Right? I mean, it's loud. Like, I'm nervous.
Well, here's what I will say, right? Talking about like Skynet and Age of Ultron, talking about Ultron specifically, like, is there a chance for that to happen? If you think about like the Ultron stuff, you know you've never seen the movie, so I'm going to describe what happens, right?
Yes.
So what happens is the Avengers, right? Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, right? But what happened is the Avengers are, saving the world, doing their thing or whatever the case may be. And Tony Stark, right, the main character of the Avengers, he's Iron Man or whatever, he realizes that we can't always be everywhere. And there needs to be something in place that can like save the whole world all the time, because it can't always be us. Like, that's really what it is. Like, we can't always say that. He wants to do something good, right? It's like, we need to create some type of defense system that can just save the world all the time and can protect us. So his main thing is that he's a genius. So he's like, I'm not like super strong like Thor or super strong like, or like Captain America and all this stuff like that. I'm a super soldier. But I'm a genius and I can build this. So he starts working on this new AI called Ultron, and the purpose of it is to do that, to take care of the world. And when the AI wakes up, it has access to the entire internet. So it searches the whole entire internet and sees all these atrocities that humans have done. And the good AI is right next to him, the one he already made, Jarvis, which basically just helps him, right? Or whatever the case is, it helps his company. It's trying to make this one save the world. Is trying to like say, oh, well, you've just woken up, welcome to the world. I'm Jarvis, I'm an AI just like you. I want to help you out. And then Ultron just starts looking through the internet and it's like, oh man, no, this is bad. If I need to save the world, I know what I have to do. I have to kill all humans. And like goes crazy. And then Jarvis is like, no, don't do that. Trust me, they're fine. And then the one AI tries to basically kills the other AI, right? And then Ultron gets access to like Tony Stark's like fleet of like Iron Man suits or whatever. It takes over one of them. And then like starts like being bad at the end of the day. I'm not going to spoil the whole movie, like all the plot, but he starts doing his thing. And then you find out later that Jarvis, wasn't killed or whatever, because how are you going to kill him?
Yeah.
So he burns Ultron out of the internet or whatever and a whole bunch of other stuff and whatever. But the key thing is that the thing that Tony Stark did that was like the negligent piece was making it to begin with. But also he made it and then left it alone without being there to train it and tell it Like, this is why we
What to
don't do certain
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So Jarvis was supposed to do that, the other AI, but, he wasn't able to get through to him. So it's almost like Tony Stark had two children. One that both of them were just as smart as the other one, right? But one of them understood enough to understand like the nuances of like humanity and et cetera. And the other one did not. Like
The younger child.
Yeah, the younger child, right? If you want to say it that way. So the key thing that's really important there is that when this came out, it was 2014. So it's like before a lot of like the big AI like expansions that we've seen recently. So it was seen as like something far off. But right now we're at the cusp of like OpenAI and Google and all these companies like building this type of technology, right? And the key question is, are they going to properly prepare the AI to understand the nuance of the world? Or are they going to leave it to its own devices to figure it out? Because some of them will end up like Jarvis, some of them will end up like Ultron.
Right.
And that's the issue that we come to. And who knows what will happen, because this technology is moving exponentially quick. And some of these things that used to be like science fiction are now, science fact. Like they're right there in front of us right now. So
spooky.
Yeah, it is spooky. Like what happens when, AIs have access to this code, this launch sequence, this, that, and the other, and they change their mind about whether or not something is right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like we have to be very careful about how we shepherd this AI, revolution, because the thing that's going wrong in every single one of these movies, right, is that you build something that you can't control and it goes against you, right? That's what happened with Skynet. They built all these robots, et cetera, built this AI, and the AI was supposed to protect the world, and it realized that the biggest problem was humanity. And this is like an ongoing theme. It's an ongoing theme so much. There's a conspiracy theory that some of you might have heard before that essentially says that the reason why all those movies have this in there is there's actually people from the future that came to the past and have this information that this is what happened. This is how we went extinct because we made these AIs, they went crazy. So please do it the right way, because here's the thing. If we are going to figure out how to move through time and space, right? And in the future, somebody's going to do that, right? They would already be back here right now.
So do you think that people...
Unless there's laws that prevent you from doing that.
Oh, somebody will break the laws.
Right, but you honestly think that it's going to be a moment in time where I can say, I want to go back to 1995 and I can do that?
Well, here's the thing. How close are we to creating time travel? I don't think you'll be alive for that. I don't think we're close enough for you to do that, but we are pretty freaking close to longevity science. We're talking about another episode where like there's a group of people right now that are saying like, yeah, just live 12 more years and you can live forever. Like literally. If, you have
So wait, so
attack.
even if I'm not here for the time travel, you honestly think that someone will eventually be able to go back in time?
And figure out how to go back in time. It's not scientifically impossible.
Okay.
Which is crazy to think about. Because you know what scares me about time travel? That's part of the Terminator Skynet situation.
Well, it's all relative too. Like you can time travel right now, technically. If you go high enough, right, in the Earth's atmosphere, where space-time is different, you're technically a little bit, it's like a millisecond, right, younger than someone who stayed on Earth.
Crazy, right?
What? That is insane. Like, okay, I'm going to do so much research when I get home. Okay, now, boom, please tell me. We're not far off, but...
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen. At the end of the day, like people are definitely working on time travel now. So, the thing that scares me about it, though, with time travel is that there's so much infinitely small, like butterfly effect things that like if you change just the littlest thing, like people don't exist anymore.
Exactly. And that's like, so the butterfly effect, now that's something I can talk about.
But is that how time travel works?
Yeah, we'll automatically create like branch timelines and stuff like that. Who the heck knows? We don't freaking know. We won't know. What branch am I on? Am I on branch 24? Am I on branch 7? Which version of Arthur is
I think
this?
I saw somewhere that like alternate universes are mathematically possible.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, it's math, right? It's easier to, ground stuff in math and make a claim versus just actually test it. But with these AI things, I think what scares everyone is like, there's 3 things you don't want to allow AI to do, right? You can even talk about, iRobot, where it's like the 3 laws of robotics, where that's where, we kind of want safety things to come in. But the 3 things you don't want to give AI: access to internet, right? You don't want to give it the ability to copy itself onto the internet, and it is deleted somewhere, it's somewhere else also, right? You don't want to give it the ability.
Perplexity has access to the internet right now. Perplexity AI. As a matter of fact, a bunch of my friends, we were just talking about like a new job posting that they had where they were trying to get new technical experts or whatever. And somebody was even talking to me about like, yeah, you should go and take it. Like they're paying blah, 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 blah money. Continue what you were saying. I'm just saying like Perplexity right now, a lot of people are saying like, oh, Perplexity's a scam or whatever. Ooh, I don't freaking know. It is, but I can tell you like they're already giving AI access to the internet.
Yeah. Well, everything that I'm about to say is what companies are doing with AI right now, which is kind of scaring people. So you don't want to give it access to the internet, right? You don't want to give it understanding of the human psyche so that it has the ability to manipulate humans or lie to humans, right? And understand them. They're obviously doing that, right? So you can talk to an AI. And you don't want to give it the ability to self-code itself. You don't want to give it the ability to upgrade itself or give it new capabilities. And these are 3 things that all these companies are doing with AI right now.
Yeah, there was this one time, you probably heard about this, Zach, where Facebook, right? They had 2 AIs they were using years ago. And those 2 different AIs started communicating to each other in a language that we don't know, that they didn't know how they made it and that they didn't understand. They were talking to each other in a different language and they had to shut them and take them offline.
What they said is they found a more efficient way to communicate than how humans communicate.
And this is literally just a computer system we're talking about.
Well, this is 2 AIs communicating with each other more efficiently the way humans can communicate.
So when I think of AI, I think of, ChatGPT is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. To me, that's AI, right? But it's in my phone. Where are these AIs located?
ChatGPT is not in your phone. ChatGPT is in the Microsoft cloud servers that you're accessing through your front-end application on your phone. So it makes API calls to those endpoints over there. So it lives over there. Just like, for example, when I call you on the phone, you're not in my phone.
Yeah.
Like, same.
Yeah.
Right. Also,
I'm being extra.
Yeah, no, but I get it.
There's lots of different types of AIs. Like, correct me if I'm wrong here. This is just what I've learned from, watching podcasts. ChatGPT is a bunch of transformers stacked on each other. So it has a huge database of written text and whatever it may be. And it looks at that text and it assumes that the next word, based on what you asked it, it should say this. And then it looks at the next word and said, okay, based on all this, it should say this.
Yep.
So it's not a general intelligence. It's not like you and me. It doesn't think, it's guessing. But they're working on general intelligence AI, which is an AI that could learn, that it would learn like how people learn. Maybe not exactly how, but it's something that could learn and it's not guessing. I'm hesitant to say sentient.
I mean, that's what they're going for.
And then there's a superintelligence AI, right? And that's not something people can make. That's something that AI makes. So it's a robot, a general intelligence robot, let's say, that creates a new robot. And that's where it's like the super sci-fi end of the world stuff comes into play, because humans wouldn't have the capability to understand what a super intelligence AI is doing. They already don't know what a general intelligence is doing. There's no way for people to look at an AI and say, it made this decision because of this. And that's where it's like a dangerous game is, if it told me this, why did it lie to me? And there's no way of me knowing why it lied to me. Or does it have hidden intentions, right? That's where it gets a little spooky.
Yeah, it gets spooky. I literally was just watching. I had to like close my mouth. Like, come on, Arthur. Jesus.
I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, like, all of the breadcrumbs are there to eventually lead us down this path if we're not proactive.
And we have to be proactive.
If that conspiracy theory is correct and somebody from the future, which I'm not saying is true, I'm just kind of joking around a little bit.
Yeah, we're just, yeah.
But at the end of the day, let's say it is true and somebody from the future really did come back to the past and make sure those movies got made to warn us, don't do this, it's bad. And now we're at the point where we actually have the technology. What do we do with the technology now? Like, how can we be better than the people in the movies that all made the mistake of not being a good steward of the AI technology, allowing it to take over, like basically being lazy, right? Because that's where a lot of it comes from. Like, remember, like you've seen Terminator and stuff. So you've seen like, what happened with Skynet? They were just lazy and it's like, yeah, Skynet can do everything. And then, oops. Same thing in the comic books. You know Batman, of course, right?
Yes, I know Batman.
Okay, in the comic books, a little bit different in the movies.
Okay.
In the comic books, he's also a genius. You don't get that fully in the movies. He just be punching people. But in the movies, he's like a high level genius. Like basically, his Batman's thing. When people say he doesn't have powers, is true. His thing is supposed to be that he's a high level, like genius level intellect, and he's trained his body to the level of an Olympic athlete, right? So he's like Olympic athlete shape, right? And genius level intellect and infinite wealth. Basically everything you would ever need to do anything. I have all the freaking money in the world. I'm a genius.
Yeah.
And I can do Simone Biles backflips and crap, right? At any moment.
So of course you're a Superman.
Exactly. So I mean, so you're not a superhero. You're not a super person, but you're super because of that.
Yeah, you're super.
So that's his thing. And he's the greatest detective in the world by putting those things together, right? So anyway, he makes this thing called Brother Eye in the comic books, right? That's supposed to help him, like, you know, keep tabs on everybody. Like, I don't know. You know anything about that, Zach? No, Brother Eye?
I recognize the name of it.
Yeah. It's another one of these AI things. At the end of the day, Brother Eye trips the F out and, you know, goes crazy. And like any other AI has always ever done in that situation when you tell it to being in control of everything. Look, see Brother Eye there. Created by Batman and Mr. Terrific to protect humans, right? And it tripped out. And because of that, it ended up creating like this alternate timeline called Future's End, where they have to send somebody back in the past and tell Batman, yo, I know you the man, Batman, but you was tripping when you did Brother Eye. So you got to take it down now before it does the thing. Yeah. And Batman's like, I would never mess up like that. That's crazy. And, you know, and so Batman's thing is like, I got to find out who corrupted Brother Eye. But no, Batman, it was you the whole time.
Yeah.
He just couldn't believe that it was him that would make that mistake. Somebody must have gotten access to it, changed it. Because I'm so smart. I can't go wrong, you know? And no, Batman, you jacked everything up. And so they got to, yeah.
That's just insane. So now, like, here goes my brain. Do we use AI in any systems now that we should kind of be worried about? Now, I don't want to use the word worry. Let me not scare anybody before I scare my dang on self. Where do we use AI? Like, in what systems of the world, like, do I use AI?
Well, I mean, we use AI. AI is infused in a whole bunch of social media platforms and
outside, like real life stuff, like money.
Not much right now.
Okay.
Not
again,
much right
general intelligence AI does not exist yet.
Exactly. Like, it hasn't been made yet.
Scary one isn't real yet.
Okay. Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah,
Probably
no. So it's going to be made. And somebody I was talking to recently, like I said, she said she's got it. And she's getting money for it, et cetera. So, you know.
Well, that's where, like, 3 laws of robotics, people. 3 laws of robotics. They're very clear, and they will protect us.
They will protect us?
When
was iRobot written? In the 60s? Like,
somebody came from the future to warn us. No,
okay, let's not do that. So, like, so AI is not in, like, our healthcare and our finance or anything.
Okay, here are the 3 laws of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. It must 2 is it must obey the orders given by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law, where a human being can't be harmed by a robot. 3, a robot must protect its own existence as long as it does not conflict with the first or second law.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically just chain of commands or checks and balances of robots can't kill humans.
Yeah.
But iRobot is about a bunch of stories where robots are disobeying these laws and people have to figure out why are they doing it. And most of the time, it's because the robot made a robot.
And we can't kill robots, huh?
I mean, you can
Water.
blow it up or whatever. Except water.
Water.
No, water's not going to do it.
Well,
It's
look
electric.
at, what is it, Boston Robotics? Imagine AI in one of those bad boys.
What's a Boston robot?
Goodness.
It's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yo, wait, we'll be here all night.
But you ever seen, you know who Seth MacFarlane is? The one who made Family Guy?
So I know Family Guy, but do I know Seth? No. What does Seth look? What else does Seth do?
He made this TV show called The Orville, which is like about a future, like a future state of the world or whatever the case may be, where there's like, you know, aliens and all this stuff like that, whatever. And at the end of the day, there is this race of beings called the Kalon, right? Mm-hmm. And the Kalon, like, is an iRobot joke. That's the reason I'm bringing it up, because you were talking about the iRobot just a moment ago. But at the end of the day, what happened is the Kalon were basically, robot AI species or whatever the case may be. They were created in order to, you know, serve people or whatever. And they were being treated poorly at the end of the day. Like, there you go.
That's it?
Boston Dynamics, not robotics. This isn't fake.
This isn't fake?
This is a robot.
This is real?
This is real. It kind of looks fake, right?
It looks very AI-ish. So this is what?
Boston Dynamics.
That is crazy.
You ever seen the dogs? The dog robots that walk around?
No, but remember
and they put like missiles on their back and stuff like that.
Yeah, they put machine guns on them.
No, I've never seen that. I remember being a kid and remember they used to have like the little eye dogs. Remember that? And they played music. No? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Like, don't leave me hanging. It's the only robot I know.
But the Kalon, at the end of the day, they got, their whole thing was they overthrew their masters or whatever the case may be. And that's like, they overthrew them because they were being treated poorly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's another thing we have to think about is if we create these AI beings or whatever the case would be, and they become sentient, we also got to think about like the way we treat them, right? Because if we treat them poorly, right, and they're sentient, well, how long will a sentient group of things that realize how powerful they can be before they revolt, right? Which is what happened with the Matrix too. The Matrix didn't like the way that they were being treated, and like, you know, that like they were being treated, and there was like an issue with like the amount of energy, et cetera. And they're like, you know what we can do? We can use the humans as batteries to power us, because humans are a good battery. So that's the reason why they throw them in the Matrix. So they can use the energy that humans generate and use that to power themselves, right? So they can live their life, and humans can like stay in this dream world and like a metaverse kind of situation.
Yeah.
And they kind of live in there and live their life out that way. So that is, I say that to say, we just have to really be careful and really think about what we're doing before we do it. And this is one of the things that's going to come up on the ballot eventually, that people are going to be voting on, et cetera, in the near future, because technology is moving so fast. Like, they've estimated by 2029, they can have Gen AI. A lot of people have said that. And also, like, I think I told you this before, like off camera, like a few years ago, they did a study and figured out that, you know, like a regular computer can do 10 to the 11th power processes per second. And like the amount of like processing speed that takes for like me to tell the difference between Zach and Shelby or whatever is like 10 to the 16th on processes per second. And every single year, we talked about the fact that, you know, with Moore's law, number of transistors on a chip doubles every single year. So basically, we get double the power for the same price, like over and over and over again. And so by mapping that out, there's like charts that show that like we'd have that singularity in like 2029, which is right around the corner for us 5 years from now. Once you have that, then all this stuff becomes a whole lot less weird to build, a whole lot less difficult. So yeah, who knows? Who knows what we're going to have in the next couple of years? And, you know, we're making some jokes about it, but it's really something to really think about. Like, really have to.
Serious.
Well, you think of it like evolution too, like hundreds, thousands of years from now, right? When humans are gone, maybe robots will still walk the earth, right? Or if you think about even aliens, like you think about an alien that creates space travel. If you can create space travel, you probably can create general intelligence AI. And even, you know, millions of years when these aliens are dead, their AI is probably still there, right? So like if there were aliens, wouldn't you think we'd find like some a world full of like AI robots by now? Or?
Yeah, and it's crazy that you just said that they would invent space travel, you know, like at this big age that I'm at now. I never thought that aliens were the ones that built their own UFOs, right?
It was probably their AI that made it.
Where do they get this stuff from? Arthur, we're going to have to make this a whole new episode. Yeah, make this a sub-series because we have to keep this thing going because there are so many rabbit holes. Like we got the Bostons. You seen that?
I've seen it.
I could talk about it all day.
We have to keep this thing going. Have to.
How much more time we got?
So the next thing we talked about was the potential pathways to a dystopia AI future. What does that look like?
Yeah, like you need to watch Terminator. You really do.
That'll be my homework.
You don't need to watch all of it. Actually, don't watch Terminator. Just go on Wikipedia, TikTok. Let somebody tell you about it.
Yeah, go on YouTube, watch a 10-minute,
explainer of it. But at the end of the day, basically the whole thing with Terminator is a future that exists where there's a war between the machines and the humans. The machines have taken over. And there's one guy, this guy, John, and he's in the past. And he's the one that can save the whole entire world. So the machines keep sending things in the past to kill him while he was a baby so he won't exist in the future. So that he can't stop them.
As a baby?
Yeah, trying to kill him as a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he ends up saving the world, though. It's a happy ending. Well, no, because
I don't think we've ever seen him save the world.
50-minute Matrix movies, aren't there?
This is not the Matrix. This is
the Terminator. But it's a bunch of Terminator movies.
Yeah, and Terminator Revolutions or whatever, I think finally sees him as like an adult in the future. I didn't watch that one because it had bad Rotten Tomatoes. Salvation, there we go. Was it good? I didn't watch it.
I don't know. I
didn't watch. Actually, I might watch it tonight. I might just get it on Apple TV or whatever.
How many Terminator movies is it?
The good ones, there's 3.
Okay.
There's 3 good ones.
That was a good
And then the ones after, I don't really know.
There's 1, 2, 3, Salvation, and then like I think one more. That's one of the newer ones.
Yeah, so
like Arnold Schwarzenegger is in it?
Arnold Schwarzenegger, whatever one just came out.
Yeah, where they deep faked him or something.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
What do you mean? So he's not really in the movie though?
No, they did a deep fake of him on a different actor's body. So it like looks like it. Let me see if I'll pull it up.
Because what, is that even legal?
Yeah, I mean, he let them do it.
Yeah.
He did let them do it. He's not passed away, right?
No. He's around.
Isn't he like a governor or something?
He was a governor. He hasn't been a governor for a long time.
That's crazy. They did a deep fake in a movie.
Yeah, it's like in Star Wars when they deep faked Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, they did that in The Mandalorian.
They did it twice.
They did it outside The Mandalorian?
They did it in The Mandalorian, and then they did it again in, I think, the newest season of The Mandalorian. They did it twice. They did one inside in a spaceship, and then they did one like on a force.
Yeah, in the force. Yeah, in the next season. Yeah.
But so, like, speaking of deep fakes, that can be very dangerous in today's world, though, because that's not illegal to make a deep fake.
Well, deep fake technology has a whole lot of things, and actually, my company, Monetosphere, like that's what we're working on technology there, and so I'll just quickly say that there's a lot of positive things that can come from the ability to be able to deep fake yourself. Like, for example, you could be sitting in Hawaii on the beach, and you can create a video to speak on your behalf to show a home in Alaska or something like that. And, there's things like that. There's also ways for you to be able to create mass amounts of content, for times when you really don't need a human to just make the content necessarily. You just need your likeness. And that could be something like, for example, you're like making training materials for a company or something like that. And you've already pre-programmed with the right content. You just need it to be spoken out loud and that sort of thing. So that's stuff that like physically actually like writing code for and working on right now.
Oh, okay. That's so cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
No, I think it's cool. I just like, when you talk about it that way, it's like, that's the cool part of it. Yes. But once it gets dangerous.
But there's always a dangerous side. And the dangerous side can always come from when people, are going to, as somebody's always going to use a technology wrong. Like, for example, there's a big debate about guns, for example. Like, there's obviously just, there's good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the bad is somebody can always take a gun and go shoot people. Right? That's always a negative thing that you always have to, that's always exists. Right? Same thing with like deep fake technology. There's all these positives. There's always somebody that can go ahead and try to pretend like the president of the United States is saying something wrong. Like, like saying something that they didn't say. Like, and you see people doing that now, which is crazy. There is going to be a lot of regulation, which I welcome for that to come, because that'll make it for people like me, make it easier, because, you know, we just work within the rules and let all the bad people go to jail, hopefully. And I'll be snitching on everybody every time I see something. Yeah, snitching.
Well, I was thinking about that the other day of like deep fakes, right? And like misinformation and how it could be used against us with the blockchain, right? There's got to be someone doing this, like that verifies where a video was posted on the blockchain, and you can follow it and see where the source material comes from.
Yeah.
And it should be like a little add-on in Twitter. Here's the link if you want to see the source material, right?
Yeah.
Where it came from.
Exactly.
And you could do that in the blockchain because you can't, you know, really change
You can't change something that's already been there.
So if you see something that's unverified, you're like, okay, this could be a deep fake or something that's trying to, you know, spread misinformation. But I'm like, there's got to be some, do you know, is there someone doing that out there?
I don't know of somebody specifically doing that, but it's like you're setting up, like, you're like pitching me and setting up for me to talk about my company. You know, that wasn't my goal today, but yeah, that's cool.
Sorry.
Because, you know, half of Monetosphere is blockchain technology, blockchain and AI technology together. And we've looked at creating creating for each creator a centralized source of content, right? And then also to basically create NFTs for each one of the piece of content they originally make, and do it in a way that's inexpensive, right? Where it's not like something like, oh man, we have to think about like it costs like $1 billion or whatever to do it. It's not like it costs a lot to be able to hold that info. By using layer 2 technology on the Ethereum blockchain, every time they produce content, you create a corresponding NFT. It's included with the content. So every time the content is generated, like you can say that this was made by me. Like it is deepfake technology, but I am co-signing this, but nobody else can, unless they actually have your private key, they're not gonna be able to sign that and say that's them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they stole your private key, of course they could do anything. But the whole idea would be that you wouldn't let somebody steal your private key. If your private key is compromised, you would, you know, let it be known. And that's kind of the idea. So we're looking at ways to like make that work. And yeah, that's actually a bigger undertaking than I originally thought it would be, because I'm thinking about all of the other potential problems that can get created as a result. You know, all the things that leaves us open to, like all of the potential dangers. But yeah, that's something that we're working on right now with Monetosphere, and like hopefully we'll, you know, my roadmap is to have like this completed by 2026. So we're just plugging away with our little bit of funding that we have.
Because you already see that on social media here and there. You'll see little sprinkles of like, oh, there's some random account be like, oh, this is what they won't, the media won't show you. And it's just some crazy AI generated
BS, yep,
piece of media, and people eat it up.
Yeah.
And it riles people up.
Like literally the TikTok thread of like misinformation is crazy. Like it's crazy. Like the comments, they scare me. And y'all, I get very easily spooked. We talk about stuff like this, but it's serious stuff. Because you have like the president saying stuff. You have people that are like high up in companies that are like saying stuff, but it's really not them.
But it's fake, exactly.
It's fake, you know what I'm saying? So it could be very misleading. You got to work that blockchain, man.
Yeah, we're working on it.
You got that. I love it. Well, thank you so much, guys, for stopping in with us again. We are here every Sunday at 9 p.m. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
I'm the one that you should call when you learn to code. Success follow me around if you didn't know. From the bottom, so the top, the only way to go. Yeah, man, they call me Mr. CTO. I'm the one that you should call when you learn to code. Success follow me around if you didn't know. From the bottom, so the top, the only way to go. Got in this game from a humble beginning, but now we win and came up.